It's 6 o'clock, it's the appointed time, so we want to call the Rules Review Committee to order. I think everyone has their microphones on, so we should be in good shape. Do we have visitors wishing to address the committee? We have 5 minutes to speak.
Yeah, to make you turn around and
I'll be
face
what I
your.
think of that remark is I can hardly get right.
You need some house
You need a little more than that, son. Anyway, can you hear me?
Yes.
What I'm getting ready to read is from Miss Elizabeth Brotherton. She had to work tonight, so I promised I would read what she had to say. And then hopefully I can have time for my comments, if you please. Thank you for not making a snare remark. The last time I had trouble getting to it that I got out of the commissioner, so thank you. I appreciate it. I thank you for your time. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy that the committee was formed and hope that the committee can bring some needed changes to the commission. The first thing that stands out to me upon looking over the agenda given for this meeting is that no specific rules are listed on the agenda as topics for discussion in this group. Since there are no outlined rules specifically that will be addressed this afternoon, I will form my statements around what I've noticed in the duration of time I have watched the county commission meetings, both online and in person. The first thing I believe this body should address is the proper usage and adherence to the Roberts Rules of Order. Time and time again, I watch as members of the body are allowed to interrupt those who are speaking. Most of the time, the interruption occurs when a member of the body itself has the floor. This is contrary to how parliamentary procedure works. I would like to see the body recommend that the chairman not allow any members to interrupt another when another has the floor. During the most recent meeting, Commissioner Neesmith was interrupted multiple times by several commissioners during the time in which he was recognized by the chairman and had the floor. The proper way to handle such interruptions would be for a point of order to be called and the commissioner who did not have the floor to be told to hold his or her comments until they are recognized to speak. If a member continues to interrupt the speaker, the chairman has the duty to handle the situation in accordance with the rules adopted by the commissioner years prior. This is not only a matter of breaking the rules of the body, but also a matter of respecting one another. For the reference of this committee, the rules concerning decorum and debate can be found in Robert's Rules of Order, Article 7, Sections 42 and 43. The next issue I'd like to see addressed is the problem that surrounds not having a copy of the rules, guidelines, or other regulations adopted by the Commission. When I emailed the Commissioner requesting a copy of the rules of the Commission, I only received a PDF copy of the public comment guidelines, along with being told that the Commission follows Robert's Rules. This is a problem on several fronts, because not only can I not effectively find the rules adopted by the body, for example, the 10-day rule. The commissioners themselves do not have a reference document when conflict arises during meetings. What I would like to see is the committee recommend that the rules be compiled in their entirety and published online for the public with a hard copy available at the courthouse and available to the commission during meetings. This could be arranged either chronologically or specific sections of what the rule in question applies to. Having this set of rules available would save lots of time and possibly avoid some conflicts if two different people had different interpretations of what a specific rule actually meant. The final issue I wish to address is the way the agendas are presented. When I look over the agendas, even when items are listed, it would be very helpful to have a connotation below each item showing exactly what the commission intends to do to address that item. If it is a vote, then please put something along the lines that the commission would be voting on X issue to resolve Y. It does not have to be very complex, just a simple explanation to keep the public up to speed on what will be addressed and more clearly than the current format. If If this committee would like, I'd be more than happy to provide some examples. Thank you for your time, Elizabeth Brotherton. Okay, I've got just a few short seconds, so I'd like to see this committee leave 5 minutes to address, for any citizen to address on agenda items. I'd like to see you leave 5 minutes at the end for concerns of the citizens. It's only fair that the taxpayers have the right and the privilege to address and speak out their concerns. I'd like to see you set the rules that citizens have to speak respectfully, but so do the commissioners. I have seen commissioners throw documents across to the people. I have seen commissioners stand and accuse the citizens of being a bitching committee. And I was in that party. And I don't appreciate it. I think my opinion should be counted just as much as anybody else's for the simple facts. I am a citizen of Hamblen County and a taxpayer. The documents that I'm speaking of that were thrown across should have been just given back to the person. It should not have been done that way. Respect is a two-way street, folks. And I would love to see it respected. Thank you for the privilege today, and thank you for not commenting otherwise. I appreciate it.
Do we have anyone else that would like to address the committee?
Darrell Harwood, live on L Road, Morristown. I've heard, of course, talk going around about some things considered this committee. One of them is, we don't want 100 people coming up here saying the same thing. Have we ever had that problem? I mean, the most I've ever seen is when they tried to put in the codes enforcement, there was, 32 people? That's a far cry from 100. So are we possibly even considering, let's do what government does best and take what isn't broke and fix it till it is? The other thing, I don't know if any of y'all have you ever actually sat down and actually read fully the entire United States Constitution or the Tennessee Constitution? I have. And nowhere in there have I ever seen anything that says the people have the right to come to their government with a grievance as long as it's not more than 100 of you. The people have the right to come and tell you what's on their mind. And there's no limit on how many of them that can come and do that. And it's not right for anybody to try to say, well, we're going to limit it to this or we're going to limit it to that. We're supposed to be founded on freedom. It's the people that's supposed to be telling the government what to do, not the other way around. And that's just wrong for anything to be considered that would limit the number of people or limit what they can say. And yes, there should be some basic rules of behavior. It's just no profanity. But the profanity we've seen in here isn't coming from this side of the rail, it's coming from that side of the rail. There shouldn't be two sets of rules. If it's wrong for one to do it, it's wrong for the other to do it also. And the other should be called out just as soon as the same as anyone over here should. This double standard doesn't cut it. It needs to be enforced fairly. And everybody the same. Nobody needs to get in this mindset that, well, we're going to make rules and you're going to abide by them, but we're going to do what we want. It don't work that way. We're the people. We're supposed to tell you what to do, not the other way around. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else that would like to address the committee?
My name is Gwen Holden. I have one thing to say. This is about rules. Well, I don't like when someone brings you off something and you have to vote on it and you haven't even looked at it. You don't even know what it's going to cost. You don't know how much it is going to be or anything. You don't even look at it. You just vote on it. I wouldn't do that. If I didn't know what it was pertaining and how much it was going to cost and if it was going to hurt the taxpayers, I wouldn't vote on something I had never seen. So that's one rule that needs to be changed. Thank you.
Is there anyone else would like?
Barbara Lockhart, Hibiscus Drive. I think there should be respect on both sides of this. You know, you should have respect for us as well as us having respect for you. There shouldn't be interruptions. You shouldn't be interrupting each other. That's not only against Robert's Rules of Orders, it's downright rude and unchristian-like. And y'all are supposed to be Christian men. You're sure not acting like it. Thank you.
My name is Tony Strazulos, 609 East Louise Avenue. I thank you for this opportunity tonight to be able to come up here and speak about the future of our meetings. I think that we need more dialogue, okay? Because not only do we ask questions as the public, but the commissioners ask questions to other commissioners. And it's obvious that the commissioners don't have all the facts. Otherwise, they'd be able to answer the questions that are asked of them. If our own commissioners don't have the answers, we're not going to have the answers. We can't just go and magically open up a book or go online and find this information. So without dialogue back and forth, we as citizens can't relate to why you think things are either a pro or a con, because we don't get that answer. Everybody just I, and wants to vote, I second this, but you really truly don't know what you're voting on. You just know that it's a vote and that it's for somebody's cause. We can't ask questions because most of the times we don't get any kind of documents that says this is what's going to be in the meeting, or you all sometimes don't get information until the last minute dropped on your desk, and then you're expected to come in here and vote on it. We as the citizens, we should have the opportunity to come up here and to talk about that and to get answers. And if you don't have answers that evening, it's because the prior research wasn't done. If you don't have the answers, I don't think the vote should be taken on that night. That means not enough research was done by the committee to move forward on something like that. I also think that if the questions can't be answered, they need to be answered the following meeting, okay? People in the public, they reach out to their commissioners. Some email back, some don't. I haven't emailed any of you, I haven't called any of you. So I don't know the response back from who is responding and who is not. But if you're not responding back to the citizens, you are definitely not here for the people. Even if you don't want to answer it, just acknowledge you got it, and somebody else will answer it. And move us to the department that has the answers to the questions. But dialogue is extremely important. We don't have to agree on everything, but we have to know what we're agreeing on. That's a big deal. Also, to limit the amount of people to come up here and to speak, it is a violation of their rights. Because I may have something to say along the same lines, but verbiage it just a little bit different than the next person. And sometimes that clicks. That's why we have multiple teachers in our schools and other avenues for kids, because not all kids understand what their teacher's teaching them. It takes sometimes somebody else to explain it in just a little different manner in order to get what they're talking about. And that's what we need to do. We need to be able to come up here, voice our concerns, everybody. And if you have a large gathering and people want to come up here, you all are here for us. We're not here for you. You listen to what the public has to say. That's a big, big thing. Because I started coming here 3 months ago. And I saw more dialogue last week than I have in 3 months. That's not right. Because if somebody didn't listen to you, you all would be upset. And we're upset. And just because you have the same dozen people that show up here, meeting after meeting, doesn't mean to just blow us off. That just means that maybe a lot of the other people that are out there, citizens, they understand that you guys don't listen to us. Because that's what I get from a lot of people. They're not going to listen anyways. You know? So they don't even bother coming. The sheriff doesn't even want to come to these meetings and talk about the jail because he knows you all aren't going to listen. If our own government, and I've talked to people in our government in the past month, and they're also not happy with the things that are being ran, the things that are being passed, and we need to make a change on that. And this is our opportunity right here.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to address the committee?
My name is Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. I think you've had some very good comments just now that reflect why we're here and why we got to this point. It seems like we want to talk about transparency and openness, and we provide, an opportunity to talk to the commissioners. We have public comments. And then when those public comments come or increase, suddenly we're here, and one item of discussion is, what will we do with public comments? Will we change them? Will we go to something that some other county is doing? Now, before I've heard people say, we are going to do what's best for Hamblen County, we're not trying to copy some other county. There's nothing wrong with your public comments as they are now. Public comments at the beginning, public comments at the end. There's nothing wrong with your public comments at committee meetings. If you'll go back and look at meetings for, say, the past 3 years, I think you'll find there have not been all that many public comments. And if you can't, give 20 minutes of your time, 30 minutes of your time to listen to the public, then it's not the public's problem. You should be glad that people are interested in coming to the meetings. You may not like what they say, and I've been on both sides of it, and I've sat there, but I have looked at a person in the eye, and I'm going to say something right now. Bobby Hahn, I appreciate you. There are some commissioners that sit here at meetings and they turn their back on you, and they never look around. Bobby always turns his seat around and looks.
Amen.
And I appreciate that. It's those little things when we're talking about respect, and that is very important. But please don't change your public comments. Let's turn the focus on getting people more involved rather than trying to say, we don't really like what you're saying, or this group of people, or whoever it is. Let's listen to those people. As Mr. Curtis said, if you have a lot of people coming up here and a lot of people are concerned about something, maybe you need to look at what you're doing. And I would appreciate it if you would take some time, because that's why we got here. And everybody up here knows it. Commissioners, telling people to be quiet, commissioners throwing papers. I can imagine what would happen if I had taken papers and thrown them across at the commissioners. It is a two-way street. And there needs to be respect. But not just tolerate people. Really listen. And when they ask a question, go get the answer. Don't just, thank you for your question. But please do not change your public comments. I think that's why you're getting so much concern about this particular committee and what the commission may do. listen. You may not like it, you may like it, but listen. And if you do have a lot of people like you did with the codes committee, then there's a problem with what you're doing probably, or possibly. I won't say necessarily probably. But be glad that people are here. And please don't try to shut them down or restrict, because the comments don't take that long. It's not that much out of your time. So please, don't change your public comments. Thank you.
Hi, Karen Arwood, 1501 Eller Road. And I don't know, I don't know how this could be. It's just sometimes at either some of the committee meetings or the commission meetings, just the way everything's organized. Being on this side as a visitor, like we're doing now, that we're addressing the committee before any of the old or new business is addressed. But like, there have been like times when you've had special visitors in, like Dr. Perry, coming in, talking. We here have no idea what he's going to address the commission about. So ahead of time, we out here cannot address knowledgeably or address it all because we have no idea. And it would sometimes in situations like that have an opportunity afterwards to be able to address before, if it's on something that the commission's going to vote on. Well, we have sometimes allotment to address afterwards, but what's the point of us being able to address afterwards because you've already voted on it? I don't know if there's a feasible way to work to do something, but if we can't address, if we don't know what's going on ahead of time to address it, but our time to address something is over and done with, and like if you have Dr. Perry or like Barry Poole, or I remember some of the judges, John Duggar, one time in here, is our opportunity's already gone. So, and many times that I've sat here and heard certain things, when you do have a special person come in and address, that after I've heard them, it's like I'm sitting with questions or ideas or something, and I have no opportunity. So that's all I'm getting at on that. And I wasn't even for this with old business and then items of interest, etc. I didn't even know what I could address on tonight to start out with. No idea. So yeah, we're not against you guys as our commissioners. We want to find a happy medium and everything work well. And it's like Linda said, if a bunch of us do show up on particular items or interests, like the jail, and then the what's it called, the property maintenance. Yeah, that's a big deal. And yes, even on that, there are places you drive by that going to work on. His mother passed away and we're trying to get her house ready to sell. There's a place that just keeps adding and adding and adding more stuff, and it's like, that's becoming a problem. But one size doesn't fit all on stuff like that either. But understand, and we just want to find a happy medium and work a bunch of these issues out, because we all got to live here in this county and make things work for everybody that lives here.
So anyway,
Thank you. If that made any sense, I don't know. It's one of them days. I'm having Monday again. But thank you.
Do we have anyone else that would like to address the committee? Now, this one's going to be a little different than most meetings because we do want to, the whole purpose of this meeting was to find out what everyone wanted. We wanted everybody to be able to tell us what you would like to see and what you would not like to see. I do want to first, before we go into the new business, I would like to go into the, what we've done since the last committee. And we've reached out to Steve Thompson, and he has been in contact with us in regard to a way to potentially do a internship for someone to come up with a codification or a more of a compilation of the resolutions that we've had historically. And so we think that we can get help with that and we can put it all together. This way it would allow us to go back to 1990 and we could collect all the data from the resolutions that have been done in that time frame. And then someone would have a guide, much like the Morristown Code of Ordinances that Ms. Noe presented to us last meeting. And then we could lay it out and let someone have a copy of that. We could post it on the website and we could do things that would allow people to take a look at those things and maybe get a refresher before they came and asked their questions, and we could rely on it when we needed to go back and look at those things. So I think that that's probably a good step in the right direction. Now, we've also talked to John Walden, and we've used this IPS internship program before, about 4 years ago, and that is the process that we'll go through, hopefully, to get that intern. Mayor Britton, do you have any idea about how long it'll take before we'll find out if they have someone?
Well, it's a summer internship program, so it would be, their deadline is already passed for students to apply, so it should be in the next 30 to 45 days.
So we hope to have some follow-up on that within the next 30 to 45 days. That'll give us a good document to start with. We've reached out to Charlie Curtis, and he will take a look at what we come up with in our rules, and I think that we will probably title that just the Hamblen County Rules of Procedure, and that'll give us something more to go by there. So that's what we've done since the last meeting, and now this is really kind of unusual. We wanted to hear from everyone to get an idea of what they would like to see put together as a way for us to communicate and do it collectively in a way that is helpful to both the citizens and the commission. And so instead of being silent at this point, I'll open it back up and see if anyone has any additional remarks that they would like to convey to us before we go into the next step. The next step will be that we will have a meeting on March the 11th, and we'll try to start making some of this come together. So I'll open it up at this point for any additional comments.
My name is Tony Charles, 609 East Louisiana.